Good evening, folks. We're at it again. So the Mobtube soap opera continues, and I thought I found something. I came across Dom Cicale really going crazy about Joey Merlino, and um, get a coffee, get a drink. We're gonna do a live stream. Let's rock and roll. Um, so many people have their allegiance to different things. Um, this like what is the truth when it comes to the mafia and rats? There you can't find a debatable truth. Well, was it justifiable when rats what you can rats say it was justifiable? Then the other people say no, you're supposed to not rat no matter what. I mean, in the mob you're not supposed to rat. I mean, that's it. And then you have the defense. Well, let me rat on him before he rats on me, or other types of justifications for that. But that's an argument that's going to go on till the mountains crumble to the sea, and you're going to get people debating that. If you want to say something about the Gaudis, somebody produce evidence that a Gaudi put somebody in prison. That's all. I'm curious. I don't have all the information. I'm not an end-all encyclopedia of knowledge. But if so, that could squash that. That could squash that. Did a Gotti Junior or the third? Did they put? Well, maybe Gotti the third. He went and sat in the office, but so you're not even supposed to enter or sit at a table with the Fed. Somebody will say, but what they were doing to Gotti the third was unconscionable, and he had to squash that because I think when he went in there, he was just about to say, "Do what you want to me, but I'm going to sue you and the people. I'm going to sue the government for $100 million for many cases of misconduct. That is evidence. That's evidence. That's concrete." So, but this Dom Cicale, he seems like a likable guy. He's going off, I think, on Joey Merlino, and there. If there's no controversy, okay, Dom, I'm gonna just stay level. But you play the game on Mobtube, then you go to the dance and you gotta get a dance. So now Merlino and Cicale are doing their dance. And then when that dance is over, somebody else will come along. And well, I'm sure Dom has good mob stories to talk about that are interesting without any conflicts on the mob soap opera horizon. But I'm going to remain neutral. And I'm going to just, when you rat, sometimes you have no defense. You could say something about a guy's personality. You could say something about his personal things, the way he lives his life. And you can really insult people along that line of his civilian life and how he conducts himself in the civilian life. But if this is Mobtube and Mob Talk, well, when it comes to ratting, who ratted and who didn't? 99.9 of the people you see on Mobtube are people that ratted. As far as I know, Joey Merlino didn't rat. I'm not taking sides. I'm just talking. Let's see what Dom has to say. I got nothing against Dom. He seems like a likable guy. I'm not stupid enough to just say, "Oh, I hate this Dom Cicale." I'm not that stupid just to say that.
Tell stories. No, we're definitely working on that. That's from Rick Boas. Thank you. Rick, I always try to be straightforward, right, wrong, or indifferent. Since you said that, Rick, people I've been mentioning, the guy Fat Joey. Joey, I want to apologize to you tonight because there's been people pissing in my ear. And I was told by somebody last night it's not true. Guy never said a bad word about you. And I believe this guy who said that. So I want to apologize, Joey. I don't have a beef with you. Apologize, I was wrong. And that's what happens, folks. Sometimes you believe people who they just want to gaslight you. They want to see something.
And he's true about that. And that is so true. That is so true. But let's look at it from this perspective too. I'm not saying this guy could be a very dangerous man. That's not an insult. I'm just looking. But you can say he was a rat, but does that disqualify all the work, all the loyalty, and all the time that Dom put in as a loyal soldier, sending money up to these guys, captains and bosses? You just can't erase that. Well, somebody might say, well, that doesn't count. He ratted or he cooperated or he did it. What do you mean it don't count? It's those things happened. He earned and he made money and he acted right for however long period of time. He acted right. And he did all the way up to the time allegedly he cooperated. You can't erase that. You know, whether you just can't. You can't erase that. Well, he was a rat. Blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. You can't erase that. We don't know the backstory of who said what to the feds. Ladies and gentlemen, there will always remain a mystery. We could only gain and gather so much information, and you could talk about 302s and 5K1 until you're blue in the face. Mobtube, you, me, we still don't know the backstory with these feds in these rooms. We don't. Let's establish that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So you can't erase the loyalty he had. I don't defend rats. I don't defend that. As far as I'm going, but I'm not that stupid to say there's some other determining factors. And you can't erase that he was an earner, most likely an earner, and he made a lot of other people wealthy. He was a rat. He was a rat. Well, whatever. But he was a gangster prior to that. And I don't know this guy that well, this Dom. I haven't really looked at him or watched him. But you could talk all the smack about him. I wouldn't want to run into this guy. This guy, he talks nice. He talks nice and proper and everything. Like, well, okay, but I think this guy could be a very dangerous guy, as well as Joey Merlino. You could defend Dom or Joey, but whoever you're defending, you can't disqualify the other guy for being a potentially dangerous man. You could belittle them and call them names and do all that, and they could throw insults around. But it's safe to say, in my opinion, this Dom Cicale could potentially be a dangerous character. He talks eloquently, he talks nice and everything. Joey Merlino is woven from a different fabric. And he's you either love him or you hate him. I don't have anything against either one of these guys. I've said a lot about people that cooperated, but people could sit home and be armchair quarterbacks and talk smack, blah, 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 boom, 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 boom. But what I say is they're all dangerous. They're still dangerous guys. That RICO came out. The RICO came out and people just started going, ratting and ratting and ratting. Me? A lot of times the feds, they will come in, they will bluff. Hey, Tony and Tommy. A lot of times the feds will manipulate wires. They'll manipulate recordings. They'll bluff. They'll talk all kinds of crazy stuff. And they'll put you in a corner. These feds, they put these gangsters in a straitjacket in a corner. And 9 times out of 10, they don't know what to think. Then you could say, well, no, you still shouldn't rat. You still shouldn't rat. well, he's got a wife and kids. I got a wife and kids. And then paranoia. But of course, I've said many times, I don't agree with rats. I don't agree. You enter that life. Hey, T. Hitton, you go into that life. You know what goes on. You're not in preschool. You know the things that can happen in the mob. You don't need a refresher course on it. You know the ramifications when you go into that life. And if you get pinched, take it on the chin. But that's easy to say. That's easy to say. I mean, I don't think Joey Merlino read it. I mean, I don't have allegiance to any of these guys. I don't have allegiance to it. That don't matter to me. It is the man in the moon. But in these Mobtube and mob wars, and you get like this guy having a battle, it gets views. It's Mobtube. It's the soap opera. This week, it's Joey Merlino versus Gene Barillo. This week, it's Dom versus somebody, and so on and so forth. But I don't have allegiance to any of them. But when you people talk about cooperating and stuff like that, and a lot of people don't like Joey Merlino, I don't think Joey Merlino read it. So, I mean, I don't think he read it. So let's hear what Dom has to say. This is Dom.
Happened to somebody or an incident. So, Joey, watch who you keep close around you. And I was wrong. So you got an apology. And people, in the mafia life, former mafia members who are in the mafia, they don't apologize to anybody. They never admit when they're wrong. Me, I was always brought up, you know what, it takes a bigger man to admit they're wrong. So, Joey, I was wrong. So
he's apologizing to some other Joe, somebody in the comment. He's not apologizing to Joey Merlino.
Wish you the best. Have a happy holiday, you and your family. And I hope you don't harbor any ill feelings.
That's good. That sounds humanitarian.
Okay, we'll go on. Hi, Dom. John said he talked to the feds as a civilian. He's not a civilian, folks. You're not a civilian. Even a made guy shelf. You don't have the respect as a mafia guy, but you're still a made guy. You're still a made guy. Even myself, I ratted. They can never take it away from me. I was a made guy. That's it. I'm living a civilian life.
He's talking about the interview that Gotti III did with PBD, and it was presented very clearly in that interview with Gotti III that when he went to do that 40-minute talk with the government, he was telling the government, he showed the paper, and believe me, PBD fact checks everything. You're not getting curveballs by PBD. So when Gotti III what I believe happened when Gotti III, they're throwing charges at him from people that were dead or in prison. They were targeting Gotti III, and I think when he went in there with the feds, he said, "All right, send me away for life, but I'm getting a dream team," because he had powerful lawyers on his side, but he was going in debt. He already blew $10 million on lawyers, Gotti III. He went in there and he said, "I'm going to come back with $100 million lawsuit, and let's end it now. Let's end it now." And some of those DAs in that cabinet and all that, or some of those DAs running around targeting the Gottis, they ended up in the Biden administration. They ended up in the Joe Biden administration. Figure that one out, folks. Ashcroft, some other names. So I defend Gotti III. Name somebody that went to prison because of a Gotti. Because of a Gotti. That's all I got to say. I mean, I got nothing against Dom Cicale, but if you're going to present a case, present it. A lot of these guys like to say, well, a 302. It wasn't a 302 proffer. They called it a 5K1, whatever that means. Honestly, it's some other FBI federal stuff. Boom, 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 this and that. He wanted to walk away. He had enough. He's my age, 61 years old. He had enough. He don't want to play this game, cat and mouse game with the feds and all that. What did they have? 5 indictments in 17 months? So that's all. That's my point of view. I'm not trying to bash Dom Cicale, but that's my point of view on that. Somebody named somebody that a Gotti put in prison, read it on. Well, we just don't like him talking to the feds for 40 minutes. It had to happen. Gotti the Third had enough. He had enough. Let's rock and roll. He told his family, I might not ever come home. Let's rock and roll. Because he could still pursue lawsuits against the government for misconduct. And folks, there was so much misconduct going on with the feds against Junior, Gotti Jr., and the Third. That's common knowledge. That's common knowledge. So let the guy go live the rest of his life. He's 60 years old. Let him live the rest of his life. He didn't rat on anybody. He blew over 10, 11 millions of dollars on defense lawyers, and he didn't rat. If he was a rat, why would he spend $11 million on defense lawyers? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's continue. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I mean, if I'm presenting a case, I'm presenting it as the best lawyer that all you folks that are watching these mobsters, you're jurors, you're jurors, and people have to present their case.
Acting as a civilian, but everybody will say he was a captain. That's like a soldier. I'm at war. I'm a soldier. I'm a lieutenant. I'm a captain. I'm a colonel. I'm in war. I retire. I'm not in the life anymore. I'm in civilian, but I'm still a colonel. So it's just BS.
You can't walk away? Well, because Mobtube and everybody's schema of knowledge, their bank of knowledge is you can't walk away from the mob. Well, Mike Francis walked away. He's got the biggest YouTube channel out there. He walked away. He cooperated, but he walked away. There ain't no mafia. What's your New York City mafia? What's your New York City mafia? So Big Dog, thanks for coming in, Big Dog. Big Dog's got a different version. Gotti read it. He sat down with the feds, plain and simple. So for the fact that you just sit down with the feds means you rat. Well, who did he incriminate? Who did he rat on, Big Dog? Who did he rat on? I don't know. I don't know all the knowledge. Well, who did he rat on? Who did Gotti Jr. rat on? I don't know. We've been, Danny Merlino and Joe Watts. Okay. They're very credible. Danny Merlino and Joe Watts. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
Not allowed in life. If I'm wrong, he was shelved. Wasn't shelved. Wasn't shelved by his father.
Who?
No, it wasn't so. I would have heard about it. I would have heard about it when I was passing the message around. So that's not the case. People, for those of you just coming on, I still didn't talk about Joey Merlino.
Yeah.
That's coming up. I'm just answering some of the questions from last night's show with John Jr.
He's got a big beef with Joey Merlino. Big Dog, I'm not the end all of knowledge. I ran around, I didn't get made. I ran around the Colombos. I was a little nothing. I was nobody. I just ran around. I gave people right, whatever. I'm not a tough guy. I didn't want to be a made guy. I don't want any of that. So I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm not a gangster. I was around. My godfather was an enforcer for the Colombos. And there's stories about that, but I'm a Christian. This is mob soap opera, and people get real animated on this. And I have myself against Mike Francis because I knew Mike a million years ago. He'll say he don't know me, but that's part of mob soap opera. Some people are still alive. Not everybody. Angelo ain't doing no good, bro. No communication. No communications. Boom. Crickets. That's just the way it goes. You get sick in prison, there's no health. There's no medicine and all that, But he didn't rat. He didn't rat. And you know what? The guy that he stood up for ratted on him. So do you think Angelo was sitting in prison all those years thinking, I should have ratted on him first? How, So this is so the psychological thinking, do you want honor and you're not gonna rat, Hey, Jimbo Slice, Joe's a stand-up guy. Dominic the Donkey Rat doesn't deserve to even say Joey's name. Michael Condinas, what's up? I'm doing these videos around the clock. They turned my ticker on again, so I'm not censored anymore. So thank you, Jesus. So I'm pumping these out, and we're going to do some Mobtube, and we're going to throw some things around. We got Big Dog in here. We got Tommy Bahama. We got Ivan Lore, T. Hinton, and we got Tony Montana. You can say whatever you want. You can insult me and everything. This is an open forum. I'm a big boy. I can take it. All right. So your participation means more to me than, oh, geez, he called me a punk. Oh, dear. I don't care about that. I've been up against a lot worse than that. So welcome aboard, folks. Let's hear. Now Dom is going to get in to Joey Merlino. Now, Joey Merlino knows a guy. He knows many guys that Truth Serum Nation. Cheers, everyone. Ivan Lore. Ivan Lore's been riding with me for a long time. Joey Merlino knows very, very wealthy people that aren't even in the mob. They're not even in the mob. And I heard one of the stories that they were talking about where Joey Merlino was at a 76ers game or a Philadelphia Flyers game. And one of the wealthy guys, an eccentric wealthy guy, said, come on, let's go eat. We'll watch the game at a lounge. And Joey Merlino's telling him, we're right here at the game. We're right here at the game. So his buddy, very, very wealthy buddy, says, let's go to the steakhouse. We could watch the game and we could eat at the steakhouse. Joey Merlino said, I'm full on hot dogs and popcorn. So Joey Merlino goes with him to the steakhouse. The guy orders everything on the menu. And Joey Merlino's going, what are you doing? So they pack it all up, 15 takeout bags, and they go and they give a bag to the homeless. That was very nice. Joey Merlino does a lot of stuff for the homeless and turkey drives, clothes drives, and everything else. I mean, I don't like these guys or hate them, but that sounds pretty good. This guy, this eccentric guy, he's got a mansion, right? He's got a mansion. He had Joey Merlino give him the dynamics and the dimensions to put a solitary confinement cell in his mansion. Give us dimensions. What do you call that, in carpentry? Give us the specs. Well, solitary, it's a little cubby hole. He built one in his mansion. And then he said, well, now sleep in it. Go do 12 months in the hole. He built one in his mansion. He didn't last one night. The guy didn't last one night. A very wealthy guy. And some of these guys don't like it that, well, I don't know, are people jealous or what? Well, Joey Merlino has some very wealthy people, and some people, for whatever reason, they don't like it. Well, now here's Dom going to get into it and go off on Joey Merlino.
everybody's aware. But we still didn't go into the story yet. So I'm going to hit a few more and then I'll go on.
Come on, let's share the story. Let's hear you.
If you have 302s, read them. Listen, New York Jets 302s are on the internet. They're out there. I've read them before. I did previous shows. They're out there. So John Jr. himself said there's 302s. John Jr. read it. So stop with the bullshit.
He didn't read.
Some research.
He didn't read. Come on,
John
dumb.
Jr. disgraced the...
That's where I disagree. Because that stuff you don't need to be a forensic investigator about. You don't have to be investigator about. That's my opinion. Wow. A rat calling another guy that wasn't a rat. A proven rat. Hey, Jets. What's up, New York Jets? I don't mean to insult, but a confirmed rat calling, well, who did he rat on? Because somebody saw a made-up proffer? Because they, if you want to, if they made it look like, what did this guy say here? They tried to set up Gotti the Third and put that in the streets so they can get him smashed. They put that Danny Merlino and Joe Watts out there so the people could say, oh, geez. So if the government couldn't put him in prison, they wanted him to get whacked in the streets. What do you think? The feds are altar boys? They'll do everything under the sun. There's no paperwork on that. And I can't say a lot of things here because what you see on Mobtube are people that rat it and they have immunity. They have immunity. But listen, folks, when you're a rat, you're already dealing with dirty hands. You're already dealing with dirty hands. You already crossed that line. I have nothing against this Dom guy. He seems like a likable guy. But, I mean, they knew Gotti the Third was going to beat them case and then sue and come back with a countersuit and let it all be exposed. And that's why he's out. So he went into a government office and had to do the finish, but he was going to go all the way. He was going to go all the way on that. The guy was making up. The Fed was writing the phony statements in regular hand. It wasn't typed. That was evidentiary stuff. Let's continue. Big Yin, David BMX. He's reading more comments. Come on, let's hear the
family and his father. Absolutely 10,000%. I live down the block from Vinny in the Bronx. So then you live down the block from me too. So I was on Sherry's Avenue. I was on Sherry's Avenue as well.
The Bronx.
So, has anyone ever confronted John Jr. in person? I'm sure there's people that confronted him. And you know what?
It's Junior. It's the third. The Teflon Don was John Gotti Jr. He's talking about John Gotti the Third. Come on. I mean, come on. Come on now.
What's he going to do? I think he's man enough to either walk away or maybe come back, go back and forth. I don't think there'll be...
Gotti the Third is not going to go back with Mobtube soap opera guys. John Gotti the Third is not going to go back and forth and go, oh, what did somebody say to me what did somebody say about me on YouTube? He's walking away. He's walking away. He's not interested in all that. He's been through the ringer. He don't care what Mobtube gossip is. And this guy, tune in tomorrow when Joey Merlino goes up against Dom Cicale, and tune in when, Sammy the Bull goes up to soap opera. But most of these guys have read it. They've read it.
Issue, but one never knows how somebody will handle something. Now, folks, we'll talk about, I'll stop reading those comments. And we'll go into
Yes,
the story
Jets.
at hand, Joey Merlino.
Now, I ain't got nothing against this Dom Cicale because I'm not stupid enough to have something against him, whether he ratted or not. He's an entertainer and he's talking about the mob and stuff like that. And he could be criticized that he ratted, but it doesn't disqualify that Dom did a lot of good work for the mob. You know, this guy did put in the work. And however he cooperated at the end, well, that's for everybody else to debate. But he did put in some good work.
Excuse me. Joey Merlino's, his downfall is going to be his little partner, Scruff. Because what I heard on the street, little Scruff, when the feds start coming down, then they will on him because they have a hard on for Joey. That's definite. The way he's a degenerate gambler has people, I've already gotten word. There's people out there that's picking up his tabs.
Let's establish this. Most people in the mob were degenerate gamblers. So now Dom is trying to insult his personal life traits. We all came up playing. We were gambling on cards when we were 7 and 8 years old. We were gambling nickels and dimes and quarters. So everybody, that means nothing that the guy was a degenerate gambler. I said in my videos that was the downfall and could lead into people doing whatever they did after that. It came into play when people were degenerate gamblers and then they were just doing crazy stuff and they could get hit or they could cooperate because they know the end is near. But being a degenerate gambler and criticizing the guy's personal habits. Jimbo Slice, technically everybody's a solid guy until they snitch, but snitching erases any reputation before that. They are a rat from that point on. Well said. They were regular good earners until one day, and then they became rats. Some say, well, it don't matter what they did before that because their legacy is they were a rat. And that's a real good, understandable point. Some people can agree or disagree. I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm going to be more neutral, even though
blew 200,000 in Vegas, picked up his tab. He uses people. Also heard there's a guy around him.
He's using people. We're not talking about altar boys, Dom. We're not talking about a Boy Scout that is doing these things, gambling and all this. We're talking about Joey Merlino. This isn't a revelation. He's not running for congressman. He's character assassinating him. Let's continue.
Inherited a lot of money. Like I said, Joey's just a user. From what I know of him, he was never known as an earner, just a degenerate gambler. Nice, funny personality, I think.
Never an earner.
Charisma as the way would.
How are you not an earner in the mob and you rise up in rank? They don't draw your name out of a hat. Come on, Dom. I'm trying to like you, bro. I'm trying to like you. But come on, this is nonsense. I'm not a Joey Merlino fan. I mean, I'm just trying to look at this soap opera.
But just what he did is a bad move coming on social media.
You're on social media.
Saying Anthony Arlotta.
You're on social media.
Anthony Arlotta, I never met him, never had the opportunity to, but I'm going to meet him soon. Seems like very.
I'm not trying to sound biased, but here's a guy on social media, a gangster that didn't rat, and Dom Cicale ratted. So come on. Tommy Bahama says he's jealous of Merlino. I'm starting to feel that. I'm trying to like this guy. He's talking about the guy's a gambler, degenerate. Well, who cares? He's not running for he's not running for mayor. These are gangsters we're talking about. Somebody picked up his tab. for 200. Well, who cares? Joey Merlino knows millionaires. He knows millionaires. He knows that millionaire that built a jail cell in his house, solitary confinement. He knows millionaires.
Very respectful, really nice guy. I spoke to him actually last night. I spoke to him, and I asked him straight up, "Man, what's this shit that's going on?" He said, "Joey's just tight because I was talking about his wife."
Oh
Folks,
dear.
It is true with Joey's wife. It's true. I heard the stories. I heard Johnny Gons was under the bed hiding. Somebody, I think, jumped out the window, got shot in the ass. I think. And people, you'll know better than me.
Allegedly.
But you know, it just happens. My wife, they left me when I went away. I was married 2 different times. 2 times I went away, they left me. So it just happened. When I came home, they wanted to get back with me. It happens. But nothing you can do over it. And, you know, guy's probably in love with him, and love, it hurts. It hurts. So there's no 2 ways about it. So it happened, and that was that. But what Joey said, Anthony Alai was with a 13-year-old. So far, everybody said it's not true. And I verified, I checked with other people on social media, in the mafia. Nobody's ever heard that. And Anthony told me, he's talking about Anthony's wife. Anthony was with her, I think she was 17 or 18 years old. For 20 years, folks. They're together 20 years, have kids together. So, Joey, by you putting a label on somebody like that, that's bad. That's really disgraceful. You that fucking low, that pathetic? Really? If you ever said that about me, ever, I'm not going to say anything else, Joey. I'm not going to say anything else. But you're a fucking disgrace. You say you're a mob boss. You don't say it. Walk around that you're a mob boss, and you go and say shit like that. You're a fucking punk too. You know what? I ratted. So what? And what are you going to do when you see me, Joey? Because you've seen people in West Palm Beach, and you did shit. You did shit to them. That you were fucking shaking. You almost got cracked in the head. That you didn't know what to do. You cigarette after cigarette you were smoking.
Hey, I'm smoking.
You want to go there, Joey? You're barking up the wrong tree. Watch what you say about people. Watch what you say about people. People that I think are good people. So what? He ratted. Do something about it then, Joey. Strap your guns on. Come after us. Okay, big shot. Big shot. You're tough. Come after us. Just like Michael tried, and I blew him up. They could come. I'm okay with it. I'm okay. You'll see a different side of me real quick. Real quick. But to say something like that about...
Let's see. Never judge a man until you walk. Thank you, Big Yun. Jimbo Slice says he would do nothing. Tommy Bahama says he'd call the feds. People have their opinions. People have their opinions. I'm not saying. I'm saying when it comes to the mafia and you're plotting, I have an enemy. I got somebody gunning for me, and we're gunning for each other. Now, just say in an alternate universe that Joey Merlino and Dom were in the same town, and they want to get each other. Who would get the other guy first? If you had to bet, who would get the other guy first? I'm not saying this Cicale, he's capable of violence. They're both, we know they're both capable of extreme violence, but who is cunning enough in battle and warfare? Who would get to the other guy first? I know who I would think, but let's continue.
The guy who I heard captain in the Genovese crime family. So what? He routed. So what? Look at it nowadays. I had a boss wearing a wire. My boss wore a wire on me. My other boss is talking about murder to the boss who's wearing a wire. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I did 10 years for a crime I did not commit. They wanted me to work with them. Wouldn't even arrest me. I told them go fuck themselves. The DEA. So Joey, stop with the bullshit. Stop with the bullshit. You have something on somebody, say it. Go out, do it. Just like what you did. You tried calling my cousin, asking her about my grandmother. Like, really? What if I did rob my grandmother, Joey? What if? What if? I never did. But what if? What if other people are involved and she told you, now you expose it, now you're going to get somebody jammed up? That's a fucking rat move, Joey. It's a rat move. It's different if you're fighting your case trying to bring something out. And I even know people wouldn't even do that.
I think
expose rats.
I think Joey Merlino playing the YouTube soap opera game, psychologically speaking, he knows when he's sitting with his nephew, he knows the things that are going to stir up the soap opera. He knows things that, well, I heard he robbed his grandmother, and now you're getting this response. You're getting Cicale going nuts over it, and Joey Merlino's back there laughing about it. So he's in his head. He's in his head. Violent and stupid versus violent and smart. Smart wins. Smart always wins. Well said, Jimbo Slice. Thank you guys for your input. So I'm very happy. I'm building my channel back up. You know my backstory, and maybe we'll just tune into some of these Mobtube soap operas, which I vowed I wasn't gonna do, but I do current events and I do different types of things. But we're gonna keep the Mobtube going. Thank you, Jimbo Slice. We're gonna keep it going because I'm not the end all of knowledge. But it's entertaining. It's entertaining, and there's so many variables to this mafia soap opera. MM's back. Hey, how's it going, Eminem? MM. So, wow, this Cicale's PO'd. He's PO'd. I mean, I think that as far as psychological warfare, Joey Merlino wins that battle. Psychological warfare. And playing a chess game, Joey Merlino would win the chess game. He was an upper level guy, Joey Merlino. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to be a captain or a boss. It takes a lot, to be credentialed to do that. So Joey Merlino's dancing a different dance than Dom is dancing. Dom is dancing a dance to different music, and Joey Merlino's dancing a dance to a more cerebral type of game plan that he had back in the mob, and now he's got on Mobtube.
The things they didn't tell, and they didn't do it because they were jammed up other people. That's a true gangster. That's a true gangster. But what you did with this Anthony Arlotta?
Does a true gangster rat? He's talking about it. That's a true gangster. I don't want to get into the rat debate, but you're trying to put qualifiers out there. I mean, as far as this guy's opinions are about that, I might not disagree. I mean, I might disagree with some of the things that Dom is saying, but that might not disqualify me from saying, hey, Dom, forget about that. You want to have a cup of coffee? That's all mob soap opera. And he could say, screw you because you stuck up for Joey Merlino. Well, that's Mobtube. That's Mobtube. But he'd be a very interesting guy to sit down and have a cup of coffee with. Will that make me a rat if I sit down with a rat?
And we're going to talk, Anthony and I. He's going to come on the show. We're going to collaborate, do things together. Check out his wine. I haven't tasted it yet. He says it's really good. He told me. But really, really a nice guy. Very respectful. And Joey got tight because Anthony was talking about his wife. And then they're talking shit. So what Anthony's saying is true. Sorry.
You think Joey Merlino could give two craps about his ex-wives? You think Joey Merlino? I don't know his relationship with his ex-wives. What this guy is claiming that when Joey Merlino went in, they were having relationships with his wife. But At this point in time, hey Joey, you went. Joey Merlino would say, "Who cares about that big pig? Who cares about this pig or that big pig?" He's down there in Florida, probably running around with young, beautiful, sexy women today. Who cares about some ex-wife he had that might have been a pig, or I don't know. I mean, I don't want to insult her like that because it might be the mother of his children. But in that situation, he might just say, "Who gives a crap, Dom, what my wife was doing? I had no control over that. If she wanted to act like a pig, then she's a pig." Come on, Dom. I'm trying, bro.
It's true. A lot of people know it. So now you're going to fabricate stuff. If you have proof, and you know what? Anthony brought up that Gene said the same thing about him.
Gene Barillo.
This space heater is being called the Tesla of heaters. It can warm up houses for practically zero cost.
Brought up that Gene said the same thing about
Gene Barillo. You know the soap opera is thickening. Jeez. Tommy Bahamas says Merlino rents space in Dom's head. It's obvious. Yeah, I mean, he's talking childish stuff. Joey's a degenerate gambler. Some guy gave him a 200. Well, Joey Merlino knows very, very wealthy millionaires. That's his business. God bless him. He's got very wealthy people and friends that want to help him out. I wish I had a couple. I mean, what the heck? So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's the degenerate gambler got to do with anything? I knew 18 people in Cruz. They were all degenerate gamblers. This wasn't the Boy Scouts. So it's just personal character assassinations. Why you got a picture of Jeff Nadeau's girlfriend on the wall? Big Yin is in the house. Big Yin is in the house. Let's hear this rant. Let's hear this rant.
I didn't see it. So you have to show me proof. I want to see proof. So nowadays, you just can't say shit. Well, you can. You can say whatever you want. I guess your views are more important, Joey. You have to, your sports betting habit and little Scruff over there. But little Scruff is going to be your downfall because that motherfucker is going to sing like a goddamn canary.
Oh.
I have to say, shut up, stop.
He's talking about his nephew. He calls him Little Scruff. James Rockford. They're gamblers. They gamble, they bet. What? We're talking about the mafia here. We're not talking the Church of Latter-day Saints. They all gambled. They all blew. They gamble. What's he trying to say? Well, I don't like Joey Merlino because he's a degenerate gambler. What? He's got millionaires that like him. And another thing, folks, and let's consider this, which we haven't touched upon. Joey Merlino didn't rat. He had the goods on very, very, very wealthy people that he could have saved his ass and got less time or no time. Let's establish that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You know the juice that Joey Merlino had on 40 guys, 50 guys, and 10 of them were millionaires? He didn't say boo. Now he's a free man, and all of a sudden, he's got all this financial support from wealthy people. Well, that makes sense because maybe it's some of them people he didn't rat on. They've been free the last 20 years, 30 years. They've been free. So why is that so bizarre that there are wealthy people? There could just be wealthy people, regular civilians that want to help them financially. And there could be people that were in the mob back then that never got caught. They didn't get ratted on. Joey Merlino didn't rat on anybody. And they're like, what do you need, Joey? What do you need? We'll give you what you want. We'll give you what you want. So you got to take that into consideration too. Of course, there could be a civilian millionaire like that eccentric guy that helps him out. But Jimbo Slice, gee, I'm shocked certain people like to gamble and have a few shots of whiskey and a bunch of girlfriends. Wow, I know. What a novel concept. The mafia likes to gamble. I mean, come on, Dom. Come on. Jeez. You know how many asses Joey Merlino spared and he didn't rat on? I don't know the story about Dom. Who'd he rat on? Did they go to prison? Did the people that Dom ratted on, did they go to prison? I don't know. I imagine. But he did time. He did a lot of time. Dom did 9-10 years. But let's be, if you're going to have a Mobtube soap opera war, bring some common sense. Bring some common sense. Joey Merlino spared a lot of wealthy people's asses from going to do big time in prison. So why wouldn't he, why wouldn't he want somebody to help him out, Who's that Tommy Bahama? Who ratted on Vinny Gorgeous? Who ratted on Vinny Gorgeous? Dom? Are you still there, buddy? Thanks, Tommy. When these guys get indicted on all these charges, all these gangsters in the streets are crapping their pants. Are they going to rat? I did some work with this guy. Oh my gosh, I'm going down. You know how many people Joey Merlino was connected to that could have done serious time? So it's not that surprising to me that some of these guys have continued to have wealth over the last few years, where they're all in their 60s and 70s, and they're more than happy to help Joey Merlino out. If he wants to be a degenerate gambler, let him. Who cares? He's not running for the city Boy Scouts. He's not trying to campaign to be an altar boy. He's a gangster. He likes to gamble. Well, if he's a degenerate, who cares? That's his lifestyle. You're trying to assassinate his character, but let's continue.
Shut up, stop talking. You're talking too much. That's what's going to happen there. But it's a damn shame. It really is a damn shame. You have John Gotti Jr. He never ratted, the innocent proffer, and this.
John Gotti Jr. was the Teflon Don. You're talking about Gotti the Third. Come on, man. Then they bring up the proffer, and all the YouTubers are going, oh, the proffer, the 5K1, and all this and that. That's been already sorted out. It's common knowledge about what happened there. Gotti the Third was a rat. Then why did he waste $11 million on the best lawyers on planet Earth? Why? If he was a rat, why did he waste $11 million on defense lawyers? PBD, Patrick Bet David. You can't get curveballs by him. He presented the paperwork and everything. And Dom and other people, they leaked out fake information to the public, to the newspaper and other things. They leaked out fake information, the feds, to target Gotti the Third. They leaked it out because they couldn't put him away and they wanted him to get smashed in the streets. He was going to come up, probably, I'm guessing, with $100 million lawsuit because there was already proven misconduct within the FBI's. The FBI was already dealing with dirty hands on the tactics they were using to try to get Gotti the Third. So that came to a crescendo. That was the 40 minutes that Gotti the Third spent with the FBI. So He comes up with a proffer. You can't throw those legal terms around, bro, because half the people on YouTube don't understand it. And a proffer. Well, we're into some serious terms here. This is some serious vernacular here. The proffer. Even proffers are unreliable. Man, I'm never gonna do another thing on this guy again. Forgive me. I'm not trying to get a beef with Dom Cicale. He seems like he could be an all right guy, but that's a wrap with this guy.
Life before I go to jail. I'll do life before I tell you. Told this 302's. You told.
No, he didn't.
You told.
No, he didn't.
You told. Even Sammy. You told.
Even Sammy.
You told.
Now he qualifies it with Sammy the Bull Gravano. I can't even watch this anymore. I can't watch this anymore. I can't even give this guy another. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to get a beef with this guy, but no, that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That's just. It's like CNN. It's like what he's talking about here. He sounds like Jake Tapper on CNN going against Donald Trump. It's like legacy media that is against targeting Trump or something like that. All unreliable bullcrap. So I'm looking at this poor guy here, and it's like I'm watching Whoopi Goldberg. I'm watching Joy Reid or Sonny Houston or Wolf Blitzer or Anderson Cooper. That's what I'm watching here. I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. Even then, his qualifiers are even Sammy the Bull Gravano. I don't want, I could see how this guy got pinched. I could see how he got pinched because he, I could see, but I mean, geez, what the hell's going on here? Why don't they understand that the feds play dirtier than the mob? They leak information out to try to get gangsters smashed if they can't pin cases on them. They're very, very ruthless and vicious. That's common knowledge. And they did it to Gotti Jr. and they did it to Gotti III. They were presenting such frivolous cases, and then leaking stuff through reporters. The FBI was leaking out stuff through the New York Post and stuff like that, leaking it out into the streets so somebody could potentially get smashed. And there was so many cases of misconduct. And I believe that when Gotti III went to that 40-minute meeting, it wasn't a proffer. It's called the 5K1, Dom. It was to say the information, certain technical terms. But what Gotti III, I believe, more or less was saying, keep it up. I'm leaving the life. Keep it up. But I'm going to present a $100 million lawsuit against the government and do what you want. Do what you want. Because he had Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. It was so bad that one of the judges had to even say enough's enough, because the final say comes upon a judge. That district 3 or something, where they just enough's enough. This merry-go-round, enough's enough. He didn't rat on nobody. Because somebody's reference point was frivolous information that made it through the media and went to the streets, and then people are going, oh, well, he ratted on this guy or that guy. No, it's false information. And Gotti III had the best lawyers on planet Earth. And when it all came to a crescendo, it was go ahead, continue to do what you're doing, feds. But while I'm in prison, I'm formulating $100 million lawsuit, and he had a lot of qualifiers that he could put in that lawsuit, a lot of evidence that is evidence about them making up frivolous cases against him, and he would have won. I'm not sure if you still might not see him do that, but he wrote a book. Then there was a movie. So Gotti III is building up. Maybe he's not interested in suing the government. Maybe he's just had enough. He wants to live his life. He wants to live his life at this point in time. He's just had enough. Maybe he's got enough money now to just ride off into the sunset, you know. Marcus Lewis, what's up from Chattanooga? Pardon me, boys, but is that the Chattanooga choo-choo going down Chicago? We got Chattanooga. Thank you, Marcus. I actually thought there was not even a debate about Gotti III being a rat. You know, you see stuff presented out there like the ABC News and The View. These people are taking their information from unreliable sources, and they listen to it, and that's their foundation for their argument. Come on. No. Somebody put in here, I said, who did Gotti rat on? Who did he rat on? And somebody put two names in the comments. Who did Gotti III rat on? He didn't rat on anybody. He didn't. That's government. That's information. That's common knowledge. He was a gangster. If he had rat in him, why did he have to sell his house, get loans for his defense, and go through all these? He's been indicted for over he's been charged with like hundreds of charges, and then whatever indictments got handed down, and they're just trying to bankrupt the guy. And they did. They bankrupted him. He never gave. You know, in the UFC, when you submit, and they just keep trying. No, I'm just going to faint. I'll faint before I tap out. The ref is going to come in and save me. But I'm not going to tap out. Gotti III wasn't tapping out because he had enough stuff that the feds already knew. The misconduct within the feds. There was all kinds of misconduct going on with witnesses that were talking about crazy stuff against Gotti III. That was already exposed. That was already exposed. So he didn't have a reason to go for 40 minutes to go sit there and rat because he spent 40 minutes with the government and all that. He was just laying down his thing. He showed the paper. With PBD. And like I said before, what I'm guessing is he says, go ahead, do whatever you do. You've been dealing with dirty hands, you feds, for so long. Put me away for 100 years. But while I'm in prison, I got a dream team that I'm going to pay pro bono because I'm going to sue for $100 million. They're going to get 33% and they're going to make $30 million. And you're going to be exposed even more. Then how the hell did John Gotti III walk away after all that targeting? He didn't rat on anybody. I think it's disgusting that the prison and the government released the videos of the Gotti prison videos. They're dirty. I've been saying it before. They're dirtier than the mob. They're dirty. And then you got people defending them about information that was released to newspapers and TV stations. And then people see that and go, oh, geez, well, I saw that on TV. Oh, I saw that on CNN. I saw that on ABC. I saw somebody say this. Crazy. You don't even need a high IQ. It's just common sense stuff. You know, it's just like politics. You got this evidence and you got that evidence. people assess the evidence and they make a decision. This isn't even that complicated. This isn't even that complicated. But this Dom Cicale, I don't want no beef for him or anything like that. But I had to turn it off. It's just getting so nonsensical. I mean, he's playing the YouTube game. He's trying to entertain. He's hollering. Yeah, get some views. I respect the hustle. Everybody wants to hustle, try to get subscribers. I respect that. But some of the things he's talking about, I might not agree on. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Joey Merlino is a degenerate gambler. Joey Merlino's wife cheated on him. Who cares? Who cares? If you're going to come with something, come with some juice. Come with some juice. If you're presenting a case to a jury, which the YouTube viewers are the jurors, put some foundation behind it. You know, if he was in court, it would have been, I object, Your Honor, you know, based on irrelevancy. I object. If that was a court of law, you guys are all supposed to be jurors. If what he's saying right there in a court of law, it would have been, or the judge would come and tell the counselor, hey, enough of being cute over there. Enough. Approach the bench. Enough of being cute with your cutie pie stuff. That's irrelevant to the case. Tommy Bahamas, Dom's behavior is childish. You know, I mean, present. If you're going to go down that road, bring it. Bring, you know, the best you can. People can reject it. People can accept it, just like a jury. But who cares if he gambles? Who cares if his wife cheated on him? He's pissed because Joey Merlino's got millionaire friends. And if Joey Merlino owes $200,000 somewhere, the millionaires say, no problem. Joey Merlino didn't rat. You know how many people he could have sent to prison that are wealthy today? You know how many favors that are owed to Joey Merlino? So don't question who's being charitable to Joey Merlino. He didn't rat. He was doing time in prison while these guys were living the high life. They were with their children. They were with their wives. And they were sweating. Wow, Joey didn't rat. Joey didn't rat. Well, when he gets out, I'm going to take care of Joey Merlino. Common sense. That's common sense. Don't get jealous of the guy. Don't get jealous of him. I mean, geez. Dom did time. He did a lot of good work. Cicale did a lot of good work till he ratted. But does that disqualify the good work that Dom did? Dom did a lot of good work, but now he's just a rat. And the perception is, well, now he's just a rat. We don't care anything about whatever, you know. So that's that's viewers' choice to make. But Gotti the third, that stuff was already tried. That stuff's already under the bridge. He's talking about a profit 302, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They already had misconduct, and they were writing out in shorthand the indictments. Right on. This has already been processed. All that stuff's already been processed. Gotti the third ratted because of misinformation that was leaked out of there. He went and sat with the feds. He went and sat with the feds because he finally said, in my belief, put me away for life. while I'm sitting in prison, I'm going to have my dream team lawyer out here putting together lawsuits, and some of those district attorneys in those offices, they ended up on Biden's cabinet. Good old Sleepy Joe's cabinet. Those same scums, that New York City DAs that were trumping up all this stuff, they ended up with the Democrats and all them. There was so much misconduct that was going on. The DA's office, it's insane. It's insane. Whew. You got the great Letitia James and Alvin Bragg and all of that. They're so criminalistic over there. And now Trump got elected, and now they could be charged with obstruction of justice, manipulation of evidence, and other stuff. So how's this guy hanging his hat on the New York City DA's office dealing with Gotti III? In the history of mankind, they might be the most corrupted office on planet Earth, and the tactics they used. Manufacturing evidence. Oh, there was a proffer about this and that, and these guys said that it's... Come on, folks. Come on. That's not even an issue. He's mad at Gotti III because Gotti III is a recognizable name. He's trying to build a channel so he could talk about Gotti III. So he maybe he could get more views. Then he's talking about Joey Merlino because Joey Merlino's big on YouTube. So he wants to get entangled in these mob soap opera wars so his views can go up. That's the only way I can forensically see this behavior. So he don't care if he's talking out of the side of his mouth. He's just trying to raise his channel up and cause controversy with the biggest name in the mob, Gotti, and the biggest YouTuber out there, Joey Merlino. So he wants to engage. It's a featherweight engaging with a heavyweight. Gibberish. It's gibberish. Well, thank you, Marcus Lewis, Tommy Bahama, James Rockford, and the Rockford Files. Jimbo Slice, thanks for Big Yin. Thanks for coming in. Thank you, my good people. Hang out with an old man. The New York Jets 15. David BMX. He's been in my car a long time. Thank you, David. Jimbo Slice, Michael Condinas, the big dog. Yeah, he asked, where's Angelo? Angelo's, I've had no communication. Angelo didn't rat. I knew him years ago. He didn't rat. He's out there rotting away in prison, So Tony Montana, thank you, everybody. God bless you all. Hit the like button, hit the share button. I'm not censored anymore. I'm able to get more subscribers. So that's cool. I appreciate everything. And we'll check this stuff out. Come hang out on me. I do these videos all the time. Let's chop it up. Let's throw it around. And happy holidays. Don't get involved in too much partying and things like that. But just stay safe, folks. Okay? Thank God. Thank Jesus. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for your participation. All right? So we'll get back to this again. I couldn't watch any more of that video. I'm sorry. I couldn't watch any more of it. All right. Thank you, folks.